That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
Hear it.
Did it go down?
Yeah. You can't turn it down when it's playing.
Oh.
What is going on, the OneCast fans? Welcome to Fishing Friday. Pete and Trey here. Ben traveling back from Misery today. Probably tomorrow. I don't know if he's going to drive it straight through. I didn't even ask him. Did you?
Do I have crap on my face? Or am I just ugly?
You're just ugly.
Oh, that's messed up.
Nah.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Jason? What's going on, Cyrus? Hope you all are having a good evening. Just hanging out here. I was trying to pull something up on my phone. We were BSing. I was looking at fishing stuff online, and I said, oh, my God, it's 7 o'clock. And I clicked over. We had 15 seconds left.
18
seconds.
18 seconds.
So we're right on time.
Howdy, howdy. Is that Nick?
I'll let you know in a second. No, that's Brad.
Oh, what's up, Brad?
What's going on, Brad? No, Nick and Mike are probably on their way back from Gaston. They fished a North Carolina team, BSS team, to try to qualify for national championship, because that was a automatic qualifier if you won.
Mm-hmm.
They finished 8th. It was a 7-fish limit, which was weird.
Who's heard of that before? A 7-fish limit in a team tournament. I think I've seen that happen in the Midwest, but I could be completely wrong.
What's up, Jace? Yeah, we doing all right, man. How about yourself? Trey's sunburned because he doesn't believe in sunscreen. He says it's bad for you.
Yeah, it's bad for you. A banana in the boat and no sunscreen. No, I'm just kidding.
He was out there fishing for. They got a tournament tomorrow on good old Bugs Island.
There's there's a big tournament tomorrow on Bugs. There's the 5 Alive Championship that's going on, and then we have the Piedmont Bass Classics is running a derby out of Flemingtown boat ramp. So anything
that might be coming out of Virginia that we don't know about.
Yeah, we don't know what's coming out of Clarksville.
I guarantee you there's something up there too.
So
that lake gets pounded.
Yes, I am boating again. I'm back in business, and I actually got my boat back. What was it? Thursday? So yesterday. And then went up and practiced on Bugs today, and it felt good, man. I needed it. So that's why I had Pete take me out a couple of times, because, his stuff don't break.
Oh, it breaks plenty. Yeah. If you use a boat, it's going to break.
Yeah, you should use your boat.
What up, Nick? Congrats, man, on the 8th. That's pretty solid work. Nick, first of all, I'm turning this thing back on. Y'all, if this is super loud.
Yeah, it's hot as
we got an air conditioner in here, so if it's really bad, let me know and I'll turn it off. But it is freaking hot in the studio.
It's pumping. That's really loud.
Just turn your gain down some. Your gain's picking it up. Your mic is the only one picking it up.
That's better.
Yeah. Just let us know if it's really annoying. And if you can't hear Trey, because he turned himself way down.
I'm very down. We're good. They should be able to hear me.
It's like directing the path. That's why it's picking it up. It'll be okay though.
Let me just cover it up.
Nobody's complaining. It's not bad on our end, Bradley said. So good. We're going to keep it rolling then. We can pull down a little bit. But yeah. Bugs Island, Gar Hole. Trey will be out there tomorrow.
Yeah. So if you guys did we talk about Santee last time? We didn't talk about Santee, did we?
Talk about it on the live today. You went down there for final day and stuff. Yeah.
So National Professional Fishing League. If you guys don't know who they are, the NPFL. They're the new kids on the block. This is their 3rd season. We didn't cut no wind, Terry. It's just hot. And Pete's cutting wind with his face. Went down to Santee for their final weigh-in, which actually was last Sunday. It was supposed to be Saturday, but the winds were too bad, and Santee looked like the Great Lakes. So went down there and talked to their ownership, Brad Fuller and Paul Benson, right?
Yeah.
And did a little media stuff, took some pictures, and hung out with the guys. And Patrick Walters brought 3 days, 3 20-pound and over bags each day of the tournament. That's his home pond. So, of course, he took the W, $100,000, a giant NPFL shield. But they had a great turnout. The crowd was great. They had a couple vendors there. day 1 and day 2, they had more stuff. I think because they canceled on Saturday, Sunday, they didn't have nearly as many vendors and stuff, but it was a cool opportunity. So if the MPFL is ever in town, you guys should totally swing by and check their weigh-ins out. One of the things that I was talking to Brad about, everyone talks like, oh, catching fish is the hardest part. Dude, every single one of those anglers, almost every single one of those anglers' boats, there was something wrong with it, if not multiple things, from engine problems to electronic issues to knocking lower units in half. I mean, you should have, dude, Keith Carson doesn't even have a skeg on his outboard.
That's all those big tournaments, man. The elite events, the EQs, the MLF stuff, all those big tournaments like that. That stuff just gets.
But that's the perseverance. So, I guess the point of this is the MPFL, from our understanding and getting to see it with our own 2 eyes, man, they've developed a really cool culture. All those anglers came together to help each other out, from flat tires to changing trolling motors out. And then one of the coolest things is like 20 anglers banded together and paid the next entry fee for Baron Adams. And Baron Adams, if you guys don't know, was the guy that was he was disqualified. He was in the lead at
he won.
He won. What was it, Pickwick?
No, it was
Wright Patman.
Wright Patman.
Yeah, he won Wright Patman, but unfortunately, he never 100% followed through with the submission for his Texas.
He didn't buy his Texas fishing license.
He didn't buy his Texas fishing license. It was an honest mistake. So that by default put Ryan Satterfield in the hot seat, and he won that tournament. So fast forward to Santee, all those guys came together and paid Baron Adams' next tournament entry fee, which was really cool. I've never seen anything like that before.
Who didn't have boat insurance to win?
That was Trey Swindle.
That was Trey Swindle a couple years ago.
That was last year on the
it was last year on James River.
That's right. Yep.
Or Chesapeake, one of those, same place.
Yeah.
But one of those two.
And he was on a winning bag of fish from his understanding.
Yeah, he probably would have won that tournament. But
yeah.
They also the elites are down on Sabine right now, and they just ruled ineligible Strassner, however you say it, for a fishing license issue. So that's two Texas tournaments, major tournaments, $100,000 prize, and both of them where anglers have had issues with a Texas fishing license. So
Sabine is not terrible, Ben.
It's pretty terrible.
It's pretty awesome. I love it. It's a grinder. Yeah, that's
he
right.
Didn't have enough insurance.
You're right, Adam. He didn't have the $300,000 liability. I think he only had $100,000.
Yep.
So.
Yep. It is terrible. I mean, this one's actually been a little bit more fun because the weights have been so terrible, like day to day, that like watching dudes claw out of the bottom, like not even out of the bottom, but like John Cruz yesterday was 80 something and he ended up in the 20s today.
Yeah.
Because he caught a decent bag, 10 or 11 pounds. And there were some other guys that did the same thing. So it was kind of cool to watch the weigh-in just to see that, but watching the fishing itself is not that entertaining. When I got to work, my guys were running late this morning, so I got to watch about the first hour after blast off and watched a bunch of 12-inch fish get caught. So,
dude, but all right,
it really wasn't entertaining.
All right, everyone's like, "Oh, it sucks because they're catching tiny fish," but
it has nothing to do with the tiny fish. It just sucks.
It's, dude, those are $100,000 fish.
It's not. There's absolutely nothing entertaining about it.
Yeah, Larry Nixon, Mega Bucks himself, he is doing pretty well. On the flip side, Scott Martin, he is not doing very well. I think Scott was second to last. No, he was essentially last because Josh Strassner is ineligible. Martin was sitting last yesterday, and I think he's down in the 90s today, if I'm not mistaken.
We'll look here real quick. Suckup's dead last out of people that are fishing.
John Suckup's dead last.
Cody Huff's way down 99th for Cody, or 98th for Cody.
Yeah, Scott Martin's sitting in 94th.
Scott Martin's in 94th. He only had 2 fish for a pound yesterday. Yeah, that don't work. There were a lot of guys that had really rough days yesterday. I didn't watch the whole weigh-in yesterday. Drew Cook in 85th. He didn't catch a limit both days. Oh, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
G-Man down there.
This is why I like it, though. you don't see the same people at the top of the leaderboard on the Sabine River. I mean, obviously Christie won it last year, but you got to look at the top 10, right? So somebody who hasn't really had a great year, Matty Wong. Someone else who hasn't had a great year, Caleb Summerall. Someone else who hasn't had a great year, Larry Nixon. Clark Winlet, he hasn't had a fantastic year. So you're seeing this, I guess, is almost like your.
I don't know if there's a lot of entertainment in watching. I don't know. There's just not a lot of entertainment in it.
Yeah, Matty Wong.
It's like the best tournament Matty Wong's had since he got to the elites. He's struggled.
Yeah, he has.
I don't know. It's not that fun to watch. It'll be more tomorrow. Will be really fun because the only fun thing about down there is anybody in the 50s tomorrow has a chance to get into the top 10 and win.
That's right.
But outside of that, it's not entertaining to watch. It's not entertaining to listen to. The only thing that's fun is to watch the leaderboard at weigh-in. So it's almost as terrible as MLF and Five Fish, right, Nick? You don't even need to watch the recaps. You can just watch. You can just look at the leaderboard, Ben, and you can figure out.
Are they not catching fish, or are they not catching fish that measure? Because I think they're catching a lot of fish.
They're catching a lot of 11 3/4.
Yeah, I just think they're a bunch of fingerlings. Kyle Welcher's doing pretty good in the Sabine River. Kyle Welcher is one of my favorite anglers. I mean, from a fan of the sport, like Welcher is somebody that he will win one of these days. I hope he does anyways. He's a great angler. Trey
might be the only person who I've ever talked to said they enjoy the Sabine River.
I like it.
Watches fishing.
I like it.
That'd be like the elites going to that gar hole, Kerr Scott Lake, and fishing a tournament.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. But you know what? Like from
Brock is underrated. He's a great angler. I mean, all these guys are hammers. You don't get to the elites without being a really good angler unless you
just got really lucky.
Unless you used to be a really good angler and you use legends to get in. But
Rick Clun.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Larry Nixon. Kevin Van Dam.
So you say so. I don't want to watch the Sabine River either. What I'm saying, like from the tournament side, though, like it doesn't matter if I have to catch 12-inch fish or 6-pound fish. I'm fishing for a lot of money. I'm fishing for a lot of money, dude. So I don't care what size they are.
David Fritz, yet you're not fishing though.
I'm not, but in my head, I am. Yeah. I'm competing. David Fritz, man, like I can't believe he's still alive.
If I'm being honest, he's been around forever. Old Dave.
Yeah.
Is he fishing the elites?
I think he is.
Oh, he is.
Check out.
He legend status. That's right.
Did he?
Yeah, with Nixon.
I wish the elites would go to Mobile, Alabama again. Well, if Mobile pays the elites $250,000, they very well they may.
That's why they go to Orange every other year. Still,
this is we talked about this before, but they don't go places because they want to. They go places because those places pay.
Well, that's not all true. I mean, the anglers vote.
Yeah, they get a vote.
They do go where the anglers want to go, but if there's only one on the list for that week or month, and it's the Sabine River, then that's the only one you're voting for.
Yeah,
because they do try to pick lakes that are going to be good that when they go, because obviously it's got to be entertaining for people to watch, or you don't have anything.
Do you guys like the schedule of the elites this year? I asked that because of how back to back the tournaments are, and what phase primarily the fish have been in the entire time the elites have been on.
But that's literally
tour.
Every year in the elites. I mean, they fish the spawn and the good signs every year.
Yeah.
Back to back. They always stack tournaments. Then you get a little break before they go up north, and then they stack those northern tournaments, and then they're done by August.
Yeah.
So it's not different the way they stack them than any other year. The only issue I have with the way the tournament stack is you end up with MLF and BASS and that whole debauchery going back and forth.
Yeah. So
your say doesn't count? What do you mean your say doesn't count?
What do you say?
Don't hate on Kerr Lake. What do you mean don't hate on Kerr Lake? It's a gar hole.
I'm not hating it. Hey, listen, Pete does that. He's an agitator. Pete's an agitator.
Just like high rod, garhole.
I went out there and caught more than 5 today, and I'm happy with that. Now,
Jordan Lake mud hole.
Those fish in cur or car or bugs are like the stepfather version of the Sabine River bass. They're not that big either.
You say $250,000 for catching fish? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care what size fish they are.
April. I mean, so $100,000 if you win an Elite Series event. If you win an NPFL event, it's $100,000, and then there's contingency monies and monies from other folks that throw money into the pot. So, the class. What's the classic end up being?
$300,000,
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of money when you get to that level, but you're also talking about entry fees. So you're paying, what were the elites this year? $15,000. It's $90,000 basically to fish the entire elite event. All the events in the elites was roughly $90,000 the last I looked, somewhere right around there. So sponsorship, and then you have I'm in the right business. I'm just no good at fishing. So
I wouldn't say you're in the wrong business. I would say that majority of the people that are fishing at that level, like they've had to struggle to get there. Not all of them, but fishing as a profession is not that lucrative unless you're backed by a lot of sponsors and stuff. Hey, there's a
how long has it been a competitive sport? So
50.
When was the first BSS event? Well, I mean, there was events before that. But
we just went to the 54th classic.
That was the classic. So
60 years.
60 years roughly.
Yeah,
it's been around as a professional sport.
Yeah,
I do that because back then it was a lot different than. I mean, the money was still good, but.
Yep. Can you go back up to the comment section real quick?
Back. I love watching. Yeah, watching them catch those big smallmouth is a ton of fun. What am I looking for?
Somebody asked a question up there. Keep going. Would love to talk to one of you guys that fishes Tillery, Baden area. Getting into bass at 38 is tough. Have fished my whole life for catfish, crappie, and anything salt.
My best advice for Tillery is go to a different lake.
That's not true.
Lake is super tough in the summer just because those fish will school up offshore, Jonathan. They get on those main lake points and stuff, and it gets hard to fish just because of all the boat traffic. But my best advice for there this time of year is get there early, check main lake points. If you're not sure what you're looking for with main lake points, shoot me a DM. It's Pete Shandrick or Pete Shandrick Fishing. Any of those you can send it to. I don't know which page you're watching on, Jonathan, but shoot me a DM if you have questions about what to look for. But just check those main lake points, man. And in the morning especially, you'll see those fish feeding at the surface a lot of times, and that'll kind of give away where they're at. If you're not confident with your electronics or don't have them, just read the water. But that's going to be your best bet. On Tiller, if it was me, I'd get there at first light. So have your boat in the water. If you're fishing with a boat, 5:45. And get out of there by 10:30.
That's right.
That way you miss that boat traffic. Because by the time that boat traffic picks up with all the wakeboarders and all that running around, it pushes those fish deep, and they don't really feed till the evening. And the Baden, I have no experience.
I do.
So I can't say anything about.
So Tillery and Baden, obviously both part of the Yadkin chain. They both have very similar characteristics. They both have the native North Carolina like shoreline grass. They both have docks. They both have rock. Both of them are like your standard reservoirs. They both have a dam, all that stuff. But for some odd reason, in my experience, Baden is an amazing lake in February. Like it fishes really well at the beginning of the year. And the frog bite gets really good on Baden too in that grass. If you're struggling on Baden and the sun is up, you can't go wrong with hitting some docks. And pay attention to the birds on Baden because there's some big striper in there, and those birds will be diving for those shad, and they got threadfin shad in there. There's no blueback herring or anything like that. On the flip side with Tillery is really good. In my experience, Tillery is really good in that like late summer to early fall. They school up big time, like Pete was saying. Get out there early with a buzz bait and run the edges of that shoreline grass, and you'll catch a lot of fish doing that. And then look for them schooling, man, and get them with a jerk bait or a pop R or a walking bait.
Yep. That's easy. Drop shot.
Yep. No drop shot.
Yeah, anything when you find those fish offshore feeding. If they're feeding up, then throw a pop or walking bait, whichever you're more comfortable with, because they'll eat either one. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I look. I mean, we can get way into when one is better than the other and why, and wind and wave and all that. But you can throw either one.
Did you see Terry's comment?
They might feed better with boat traffic, but my big butt ain't sticking around to
Dude,
surf
I'm telling you right now, Tillery has I've been on some rough water when people are running their pontoon boats, when they're having those giant wakeboarders out there, like for some odd reason, that is one of the roughest lakes I've been on besides Kerr. And it's not that they don't feed better, Terry. It's that you might not make it back to the ramp.
Yeah. We should show these. I'm going to show y'all something. Keep talking, everybody.
I'll just sit here and keep talking. Yeah, hit us up, Jonathan. Like, we're more than happy to answer any questions. I'm not a subject matter expert on Tillery and Baden, but I've done pretty well. Placed top 3 on Baden and Tillery before, and honestly, I think I just got lucky. But
we finally unpacked our trailer from the plastic, and I don't know how, but this thing just ended up in our trailer. What do y'all think? Should we
Yeah, turn the camera up.
I'm going to. Should we keep that I don't know how it got into our truck at the Classic.
Terry, I hit a log on Tillery one time going about 60 miles an hour, man. And that scared the crap out of me. That's something too, Jonathan, to think about. Like if we have a real bad storm and stuff, Tillery gets really, really bad with timber and stuff floating in the water. So be real careful of that.
Man, I'll ride that. I fished Tillery in a 21 foot and it still beats you up when those people were running around making wake.
Just get a hovercraft. You'll be fine.
Yeah, you just need a hovercraft. Should we put that in here, guys? What do you think? Want a first place touring on Baden Tillery? Yeah. I fish it for everything but bats.
God, it's been so long since I've been to the Yadkin chain. It's been years, honestly.
I fished that tournament, Mike, couple. They were still on beds, though.
Were they?
And then I think our club fishes it in.
Where are the other exhibits at?
They're around back inside.
We got more exhibits out there.
Yeah, there's more exhibits out this way. You can go either way.
We appreciate the gift.
Yeah. Thanks, BASS. If somebody happens to watch this, I've seen them large cigar boats out there. Yeah, man.
Dude.
Them jokers get running around. You got wakes making wake for no reason. Not even towing anybody just to make waves. And Gaston gets like that too if you on the main lake.
Man, it does. And speaking of like the big waves, man, like there are so many uneducated people out on the water. Like you gotta be careful of them because they're crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're it's bad when you go out and you have to worry more about other people than yourself.
Yeah. So we while we're talking fishing,
almost broke my butt cheeks. Yeah, I bet.
we took a poll on our on the OneCast Facebook page about you don't like it?
The glare is bugging me because we have the big lights on.
Oh, we took a poll for apparel and stuff, looking at hats and shirts and stuff like that. So if you guys didn't go over to the OneCast Facebook page,
yeah, sorry. That's why I had to move it.
Head on over there and take that poll and let us know if you guys are interested in hats and shirts and stuff like that.
It's like April. It's like the Fig Newton sticker on Ricky Bobby's car. This sign is dangerous. But I sure do love Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the link in there to our Facebook group. If you aren't a member, make sure you go over and join and vote on that poll.
There it is. Yeah, and the intent is to generate some funds to put back into the show so we can continue upgrading equipment, getting better editing and all that stuff. So let us know if you guys are interested in that stuff because we're going to put 100% of the proceeds right back into
What's up, David?
The show.
Terry, I'm working on getting pricing and a bunch of stuff. I know like fishing shirts have been probably the number one ask. So working on a couple different things. I'm not going to I'm not going to talk about what might be coming, but working on some different things. So hopefully we'll have hats. We should have some hats by the end of the month, I would say. What is it? Yeah, by the end of this month, we should have some hats. And then the shirts and stuff, there's a couple different avenues and different things we're looking at. So stay tuned for that. Some exciting stuff possibly coming there, helping some organizations. That's about the most that I'll say.
Yeah.
You don't want me writing on your stuff? Come on, April.
Do you write on people's stuff?
No, Nick wants me to autograph something. Nick, just bring it to the Roanoke next weekend, and I'll sign anything you want, bud. As long as you promise to sign my stuff.
Hey, so I don't know if you guys saw this. I watched a podcast the other day, or listened to a podcast the other day. There's a website out there called fishtips.com. Who's heard of it? You heard of it?
I had somebody try to sell me tips on it.
Fishtips.com. You can sell your tips to people. You can sell your spots. You can sell techniques. You can sell whatever. Pretty interesting concept coming from the guy who created it. And I want to say he's out of North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
David, yeah. I don't know if we'd put a Chicago Cubs sign up. I mean, I would hang it up, sure. Send some fan art. And we're going to have something here.
All over.
Like right here, we're going to have some featured stuff coming pretty soon. Probably maybe for next week. I got to get with it won't be. I don't think we're going to do one next week. I don't know yet. But
we should cut that sign down.
Yeah, we'll figure something out with that. And then we have an artist that we're working with that he's going to send us some paintings, and we're going to display them for him. He does cool fishing related stuff. So look for that. Those are going to go right here when we get them in.
Yeah.
So was that thunder? Or was that something blowing up? Trey's got to go check. There's just some form of what sounded like a loud explosion outside. I don't know if y'all heard that, but there was a big boom. Terry, you upgraded 6-pound line. You frogging with 6-pound now? The funny thing is, Dave, I wouldn't sell my waypoints and stuff either, but like the vetting process, I guess they asked the question like, what was it?
I'll tell you.
Did your wife blow something up?
No, I forgot that I called a drone strike in on this chicken that's a prick all the time. And
was that the chicken dying?
No, he's dead. No, I'm just kidding.
What was it?
I don't know. Somebody blasted something across the creek.
Oh, that was a shot?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, something got shot out there.
Something
it wasn't us.
was,
It wasn't any. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
If you see us roll out, you know that we're taking contact. So
yeah. We'll grab a couple M4s.
Anyway, I would never sell my fish nose. Yeah. So David, back to that. Like, I was like, well, what would stop somebody from selling fake? And then I guess they asked the question. I didn't watch wasn't that Bass Talk Live that did that?
Yeah, BTL. Yep.
I guess they did it. I didn't watch it because I didn't care to hear what that guy's ideas were.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it didn't interest me. Not trying to be a jerk, but just something that didn't interest me. Apparently, they go through people's social media and everything before they will let you sell. So, like, I don't know what size following and all this stuff you're going to have for them to even let you sell. So it's almost like the only people that are going to be doing it are probably guides and stuff, and they're going to want ridiculous amounts of money. And
yeah,
it still doesn't stop you from selling fake waypoints and things. So I don't know. It's an interesting business idea. If it works and he makes some money, then good for him for having an idea to make some money in this industry. But I will not be buying and or selling anything on Find My Fish or Catch My Fish
Tips.
Only Fish, whatever it is.
Only Fish.
Yeah,
dude, we should start an Only Fish page.
Onlyfish.com.
I like that. New t-shirt.
Only
idea.
Fins. See how long it takes us to get sued.
Yeah.
Walking the line there, boys.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Capitalism,
That's
baby.
Right. But there you go. I would sell it if y'all want. What are you selling? Terry said it's his stomach rumbling. You selling your 6-pound line or are you selling waypoints? Sydney's already going to sell me all your waypoints. So.
6-pound line.
Yeah, Terry's frogging with 6 pound mono.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Must be Stren. I use Stren mono. I'm not gonna lie.
That old strand that came in the purple package.
I got a bunch of it out there. I use it. 14 pound Stren connected to a swivel. That's what I use for my leader on my Carolina rigs. And then that's the only mono that I use though. Oh, I'm sorry, 14 pound mono for like Bangalore prop baits and stuff like that. The only 2 times I use mono though.
I use copoly for that stuff.
Yep.
I will use mono for a Carolina rig, but I just got some cheap 17 pound stuff. It's mono. It's all pretty much the same.
Strand, dude, I'm telling you, that was the only thing that I grew up fishing with. My dad, we would go smallmouth fishing, pike fishing, largemouth, and then we would go to the river, the Manistee River, and we would use 10 pound Stren mono, almost like just a drop shot essentially, and we would catch king salmon in the river at the dam, and it was so much fun, man.
Yeah, I think everybody back then was using Stren.
Stren or
trialing.
Yeah, trialing.
Two options you had.
All right, Shakespeare line. Shakespeare makes line.
What up, Sam? Hope you're doing good, bud. You want to come on? We'll get you on. I want to get you on this winter, Sam, when there's not as much fishing stuff going on. Sam is a buddy of mine up in Pennsylvania. And he is a coyote killing fool. Has the whole setups with all the night vision and all that stuff, thermals, and goes all over the country. So I think it'd be cool, Sam. We'll have you come on and talk a little bit about predator control and all that, because I know it's something you're passionate about. Also, retired Marine, still works in public service. So glad to see you stop in, Sam. PA fisherman blackout background on fish pics. I hope you enjoy the show. Yeah, Joe, I do that in Pennsylvania too, because there's a whole bunch of hole buzzards up there, and our bodies of water are a lot smaller, and especially on Erie, because there's a lot of work to go into finding stuff on Erie. A lot of hours behind the wheel scanning, and there's some community holes, and I'll tell people to go fish them, and they'll catch fish. But I got stuff on Erie.
Sneaky. Yeah. You gonna sell it on Fish Tips?
No. When I take a picture, it's just a black background. And you'll see Destin does it too. Like Erie's probably the worst.
Is it really?
Yeah, people are really bad about hole hawking up there. So
hole hawking.
Yeah.
Hole buzzard. Actually, I just talked to Destin DeMarion earlier. He is fishing a charity tournament tomorrow on a private lake. I guess they only open it up one day a year.
Oh, yeah.
But he's going to take like 22 pounds of largemouth to win.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty awesome.
I can't remember the name of the lake, but they do that.
We won't say the name.
I would say it because it's not open. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, but they do a charity. I think it's for the local Shriners or something like that. But yeah, it's a once a year thing, and it's got giant largemouth in it. The owners or whoever manages it for big fish.
That's awesome.
For a northern largemouth fishery, it's
hole hawking.
You never heard hole hawking?
I don't know what that means.
Hole hawks, hole buzzards. They circle like a dang hawk and then they pounce. They hole hawk.
It's like fishing corporate espionage, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just coming. So I had that happen today. I'm glad we're talking about hole hawking.
Well, before we talk about your story,
let's talk about yours.
It's not even mine. Did anybody watch the Ben Milliken Bass Talk Live drama go down in their last episode?
No, I did not see
So
it yet.
apparently they hashed out whatever issue they got into down on Wheeler on the podcast.
Really?
I guess the BTL boat pulled up and threw over Ben's line like at one point on a hole. So he moved spots, and next thing he knows, they came in and sat on top of where he was fishing.
So Matt Pangrank?
Whoever runs the BTL boat. Apparently those two had it out.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess it's all fixed. They hashed it out, but I haven't watched it yet. Somebody was telling me about it today that I was talking to at work. So I need to go watch that.
I wonder if shit like that is like, if they do
hole poachers. Yeah, that's a good one.
Hole poachers. I wonder if they do that stuff on purpose sometimes to make media. You know what I mean? I can't see it between those two, but
here's the thing, like that's not good. That's not good media.
No, it's not.
Like if you're trying to grow, like that would be, we're trying to grow our podcast, right? And say we wrapped our boats and we go out and we fish some tournaments and we use it for, it's a billboard. So everybody you pass sees it. and you do all that, but then you're on video doing something stupid to another angler, like you might get some people coming to your channel, but they're just going to come there and tell you what a jackass you are, pardon my French.
Yeah.
And what an idiot you are. And then there's going to be all that in the comments, and those people aren't coming back weekly. So you might get a little boost in engagement for a couple weeks because of that bad publicity. But in the long run, you're going to hurt yourself, because if I was a fan of somebody and they went and did that, like, I'm not going to mess with them anymore.
So he intentionally did it because
we don't know if it was intentional. I didn't watch the episode, but I mean,
either way,
I guess the video that Ben dropped, you see this dude roll up and throw over his line in the first spot. Then there's another spot where he runs in and literally sets down where Ben's fishing. And Ben said something to him, like, on the water, like, are you just going to follow me around? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And then there was a little talk back and forth, and then Ben got down and ran. And then he put his video out, his post-tournament, like he always does. And I guess he showed all of that on there, and then had some voiceover and talked about it. And so Matt hit him up, and he went on there, and I guess they hashed it out on air. But I don't know what that looks like. I will say, if that is what happened, like if they hashed it on air, I'm even a bigger Ben Milliken fan now for being able to sit down like a freaking adult
and have a conversation,
talk through that, and be like, look, this is why I think it's a bad look, but whatever it is, whatever you got to say, to do that knowing it's going to go out to the masses, like,
yeah.
And even for Matt, like, however, I don't know his side of the story yet, so I'm not going to speculate, but he did whatever he did. For him to reach out and be able to want to put all that dirty laundry out for everybody to see and kind of get both sides of the story, like, that's big props.
That's good on him.
That's pretty stand up. Like, he did something dumb. Maybe he didn't realize he was doing something dumb. Maybe he thought him and Milliken were better friends than they are, or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Why do you let me throw over your line then?
I don't.
I'm just kidding. I don't need to throw over Pete's line.
But so you got whole hawk today?
Dude,
whole buzzard?
Yeah, I got whole hawk, whole poached, whole, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I think fans don't need to follow any anglers when when that type of money is on the line. I agree.
I don't have an issue with fans as long as they're staying back. And I mean, if they're not interfering with the guy fishing.
Yeah. Well,
that's the biggest thing.
I will say that the flotilla crowd has died down.
It's nothing like it used
significantly because of live coverage.
Yeah.
So, however, because of live coverage, now everybody can go back and go back and go back and go back and figure out, okay, and bass, now I don't know how accurate it is, but when they do that, like, geographic representation,
it's extremely inaccurate.
It's got to be inaccurate.
They'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, he's fishing this creek, and the creek's 150 miles long.
And hey, Terry, so
yeah, there have been issues in the past, Terry, but they're pretty few and far between. The other thing now, though, like, almost every single one of the elite guys, a lot of the guys on the opens have their own social media person that follows them at these tournaments and records from another boat. Look at, like, Zaldain's got a whole film crew on another boat.
Martin, Pollinek.
I don't know about Martin because I don't watch his crap, but
hey,
most of his is GoPro stuff.
Yeah, but
BP has a film crew. Zaldain has a film crew. Milliken has a film guy that follows him from another boat. There's a bunch of those guys that have a boat following them, and they're paying them to do that. So a lot of times those guys, what's going on, Dave? A lot of times those guys will run, block, and they'll kind of set hey, this is where you need to be. And you'll see that flotilla kind of gather around that camera boat, so they can kind of control where that crowd goes, almost like security. But there certainly have been times, Terry, you're right, where anglers either fish in front of, or local guys do things, Trey, that no, I'm just kidding. I'm
going to talk about that.
You were totally fine, but like they're you have to be respectful. So, like, if it's your home lake and they're there and you want to fish, that's great, but don't cut in front of a guy that's fishing in a $100,000 tournament. If you watch live the day before and he's smashing them in an area, like, don't run to that area before sunup and fish it, knowing that he's probably going to come in there. Like, try to be respectful. They're only there for 3 or 4 days.
Yep.
Trying to make a living. If it's a big lake and stuff, I don't have anywhere to tell you, like, to say don't go fish.
Yeah.
But try not to hammer those guys' areas, because they're making a living. That'd be like, I don't know what you do for a living, but that'd be like if I came to your job before you and you got paid for doing the job, and I did the job beforehand, and now you don't have any work, so you don't have a shot at a paycheck that day.
Yep.
Like, just because they're the elites doesn't mean if my first hole is no good where I've been catching them that I have 15 backups where I'm going to catch them just as good. Like,
That's right.
you hear it all the time. Like in practice, I thought maybe I'd catch some fish in this area, and then all of a sudden it's a special one of those special. They get on a run, and those fish are there, and they're catching them.
It's like the gar hole car.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, that guy knew. I mean, he had 45 years of experience on the lake. He knew
6,000 brush.
He knew exactly what those fish were doing. But yeah, I mean, you get an area. So if they're coming to a lake near you, anybody watching, if they're there actively fishing, stay back, watch them from a distance. You don't need to be right up on them. If you are fishing, I know we saw it when they fished, and this I'm going to segue you into your story. When they fished Harris on the championship day, there was a local kayak guy, and I can't think of your name right now. I'm sure you're in here. You've got a ton of publicity for it. You got on the cover of Bassmaster, if I remember correctly. But one of the MLF guys ran into the little cove he was fishing, and the guy turned and looked and saw him. He was like, "Hey, I'm out of here. Like, you can have it." And he just paddled out.
Yep.
And sat back and watched that guy fish it. Like, you're doing it for a chance to win 150, 250,000, whatever because that was the heavy hitters. So,
yep.
And then you got guys like Trey.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
So we're talking about like following anglers and stuff around. And I had, when heavy hitters came to Sharon Harris a few years ago or whatever it was, I was fishing on their championship round. There was 10 boats on the water, or BPT or MLF guys, whatever they are.
Those are heavy hitters.
So 10 boats is nothing on Harris. What is something on Harris is about 15 boats following Jacob Wheeler around, or Alton Jones or Alton Jones Jr., or whatever. And in fact, that day that I was on the water, I was on leave, but that day I only saw a couple of those guys. And when I saw them, they were running. The one guy that came in was Alton Jones, and I waved him in, and he said, "No, it's fine, man. We're on like between periods or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And actually, Daryl's son, Kieran, was on a camera boat that day, like videoing. And I think he videoed Jeff Sprague catch a bedfish. Okay. But the point is you can be on the water when the pros are out there because you pay your taxes and you have your fishing license, or at least you should. But if you're behind them and you're dropping your trolling motor in, you got all your sonars blasting and you're casting behind them, like, dude, that's just like, it's totally legal. Yeah. But it's super like unethical.
Yeah. Just be
a common.
And I know, like, same instance when they were down here, I went to Jordan. There was a lot more boats fishing, and I just there were some guys I wanted to see fish and see what they were doing. And I never even cut my electronics on. Well, I mean, I had just my mapping graph, which has no transition.
Right.
I didn't turn the other ones on because I didn't. Plus, I want to drop waypoints, but yeah,
of course.
But I didn't want to have that stuff pinging because when you get 100 boats watching a guy and there's 100 freaking sonars pinging and all that, that's a lot of noise. And regardless of what anybody thinks, like, those fish do get reactive to the sound of sonar ping. There's plenty of evidence out there and videos. And if you have forward facing and you fished a pressured lake where forward facing gets used a lot, I promise you've seen it. If you do pull up on a brush pile and put that forward facing on it and see what happens. I bet if those fish are out, if it's one of those lakes that gets hammered, you'll watch those fish suck into the brush pile.
Yep.
And they shut down.
Speaking of brush piles, so out on Bugs Island, we'll call it Bugs.
Right into
so Bugs Island, I'm out today. I've never taken my own boat out. I fished that lake one time, and that was earlier this year. And we had I think it was like a 19th place finish. So not too bad out of like 80 people, but, was out there today just mapping brush piles. I mean, I caught a couple fish shallow, or one fish shallow, and saw some other shallow, but really, in my opinion, it's an offshore bite right now. Could change tomorrow. We'll see. So I'm mapping, and as soon as I would go over with side scan, I would turn around, I'd get 60 feet off the brush pile. I'd drop the forward facing in there. I'd see what kind of activity was in there. If it looked right, I'd throw a drop shot in there, whatever. If I got bit and I caught one, I'd only catch one, pull the trolling motor up, turn my yellow dot to green. That's how I do it, right? I go yellow dots for everything. And then if I catch fish, it's green. And if it's a gar hole, I won't put red. I'll just delete it. And dude, it happened today. And I was on
lake. You delete a whole lake.
Yeah. But I was on the phone with Josh Watkins, and And
NPFL Angler.
yeah,
If you don't know, go listen to that episode. It's a great one.
yeah, NPFL angler Josh Watkins. We were talking, and I had the phone on speaker on the front deck, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "What?" It doesn't matter, but I no sooner pulled my trolling motor up and moved and started graphing more, and this guy was like, "Wow!" Flew across the point because he saw me hook one. And he just sat right there. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's public water, whatever.
The other thing there, though, is like there's not a brush pile on that lake that isn't secret. And he was probably trying to get to it when he was on
it was probably his brush pile.
There's a good chance.
He probably sunk it himself.
That's a tough one because almost every single one of those brush piles somebody put there.
Yep.
And, you know, I've talked to some guys that used to fish it a lot and live on it. And they're like, I quit fishing it when everybody got side imaging and everything because everybody knows where the brush piles are.
Yeah.
Like I had brush piles that I'd never seen another human fish. And now I'll watch 10 boats fishing a day because everybody's got the electronics to find it. So like that wasn't too bad, I guess. But yeah, I mean, he could have just seen you catch that one and jump it too. Like it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it happens, man. I mean, it's just part, like you have to, that's why these guys that fish, you know, the elites and the BPT, they build that stuff into their calculus. Like there's nothing wrong with being on the water when they go out there because you have just as much right as they do. They do build that into their calculus. They're like, okay, I know there's going to be local pressure on a Saturday. There's going to be, you know, but you can also be a courteous human being and say, you know what? They're bed fishing. I'm not going to go pick them off the bed. You know what I mean? So even though I did do that,
Trey was jacking
I jacked a 7.5 pounder.
That would have won big fish. That'd have been $100,000.
It was totally an accident, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Pure accident. What do you say?
I've got the opposite issue. All the mills keep following me. They know I have OneCast discount. What's going on, Larry?
Why didn't you bring all those milfs to the classic?
That's funny. That's a good one.
Larry, make sure you get Academy on board with wrapping our boats so that we can, you know, sponsor their awesomeness.
Yeah. We'll put a big Academy Sports on the boat, you know.
Pete said he wants to be the next Jacob Wheeler. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, if I could design my own bass boat.
He wins a little too.
I don't care about that. I just want a free bass boat. I wanted a mill. Oh, here we go.
Oh man,
look what you started, Larry.
Now
we got Larry and Terry going.
Larry,
where are you at? You want to go fishing more?
Are you going fishing tomorrow?
I don't know. Probably not.
I don't know why you're not.
Because I got some stuff I need to do to my boat, and tomorrow would be a good day to do it.
I got you.
Because I'm gonna go pre-fish the Roanoke or the river somewhere down there on Sunday. So
Pete and I are going out Sunday to hopefully break some jaws with some frogs.
No, we're gonna.
You know what I mean?
Fish.
So
that's pretty much a gimme.
I think I've caught a handful of fish this year on a frog because it literally hasn't been like, I don't know, like we caught some good fish on Harris on frogs.
I did. San Lee's fishing Jordan. Where are they going out of, Terry? They going out of Pose? No, they can't. It's June now, right? When does that shut down? Do you remember Pose?
I don't know.
It's June or July.
I thought if it was less than 15 boats, they could fish out of it.
We're not letting any tournaments go out of there after a certain date.
Ebenezer. Dude, every big tournament should launch out of Ebenezer.
Agreed.
Nobody should go out of Farrington. Doug, I love you. I know you're not watching this. Stop putting in at Farrington. It is the absolute worst ramp that Jordan has ever seen. Terrible.
Larry, maybe tomorrow afternoon we can get out local. I'll let you know. Let me see. I got to get some stuff done on the boat. I'm bachelor. Chelsea had to go out of town for work. So, boys, what's your PB from Tim?
9.6.
Trey's 9.6. Mine. Oh man, I just broke it not that long last year. It's 8. It was 8.3.
I thought it was 8.4.
No, it was. I broke it. I think 8.7 was what it was. I have a notebook. It has it in there. I have to go look. Barrington, the only ramp people have their trucks fall in the water. Was it somebody back their truck into the water?
Dude, 15-3.
Farm pond don't count. I'm just kidding, all the pond fishermen. That's a long-standing.
15-3. What state, Terry?
That was here, I'm sure. I don't think Terry's pretty much always been in North Carolina. What about you, Tim? What's your PB? My PB smallmouth's just over 6. I'm going to get a 7-pounder.
15-3. That makes me sick to my stomach.
Farm pond. Probably caught it on. Yeah, see North Carolina. What'd you catch it on?
Send us the pin to that pond.
He probably caught it on Joe's fly or something like that.
It probably a
Brim, you were
beetle
brim
spin.
fishing with a beetle spin.
Jordan Lake, 11-7. I don't doubt it.
There's nothing wrong with you pond hoppers. That was a joke, Dave. David, I'm sorry, bud. I'll get you on the boat here. I was going to hit you up, but you didn't reply to my post about boat snacks for tomorrow. So
the old Stanko.
So I'm going to work on the boat in the morning.
Dude, I used to lease part of I was in a hunting club, and I used to lease some spots out in Lillington. They had 2 farm ponds on that property. There were some freaking giants in there. Both of my kids caught 6-pounders on flukes with monofilament. But I love pond fishing, man. There ain't no ponds for me
to
to
go casting at a bunch of shad on Harris tomorrow and fish the discharge.
Do it, dude.
No.
Seriously,
I can't do it.
Dude, my buddy last year they caught a 10-9 on Harris fishing the upwell in like 30 foot of water with freaking live shad.
They catch a bunch of them. That guy's there all the time.
Yeah, Dan Ralston, he's a great dude, man.
Yeah, they fish that with the shad. I know old Gina, one of our ambassadors, she got her a cast net and said she can go get some shad. So.
She better do it. You just got to find those big shad. They're pretty easy to find, though. So, Fire Lane Road, dude. I think I know what you're talking about. Is it open to the public, or do we need to get permission?
Franklin County, too. We'll hit some ponds up here. All right, where's Franklin County?
Dude, ponds are the best.
Is that north of us?
Yeah. Ponds are the best place to just chill, man. We need to get Larry. Terry, you're going to have to get us permission, my man.
I'm still learning all the North Carolina counties. I've only been here for 6 years.
I promise, Terry, I'm catching release.
Highway 210 North. He's giving us everything. Go knock on the door, Trey. Go in uniform. They never say no to the military guy.
Bullshit, they don't. You're like, you can't do that anymore. Like back in the day, you'd be like, hey, can I hunt your property and I'll give you half the deer that I killed? Like back in the day, it'd be like, oh yeah, man, not a problem. Now it's like, no.
Yeah, you can do it. $1,200.
Yep, $1,200, dude. But the thing is people pay. And I'm like, oh golly,
I'll drop
man.
a pin to it to Pete. Yeah, drop it to me.
That's awesome, dude.
I'll go knock on doors.
Yeah, and because you got Chelsea's got that kayak too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only time, and Larry, if you're still on, that is the only time I like getting my big ass in a kayak is when I'm on a pond. Like I do not like going out on the lakes in a kayak. That's just me though.
Yeah. No, me either. I don't like being around them wake boats in a bass boat.
Dude, I'm sorry, but like it's so like even that little orange flag that those guys are flying above their kayaks, it does not matter. Like those people come around those corners 100 miles an hour, like It's unbelievable. But I hope you guys all has 4 ponds.
Where's everybody else? Anybody else getting out this weekend? Where are you fishing? Terry, I know you're going to Sand Lee tomorrow.
No, he's going
to Jordan with Sand.
Jordan.
Tomorrow.
Pipeline goes about 500 yards from that pond.
Hey, Jamie, we got to go mark that on Monday. All right.
Who said lakes make me nervous? That Larry?
David Mosher. Yeah, man. The people were just wild on lakes. I don't even like fishing some of them in a bass boat because, like Trey said, they'll just come wide open around corners and all that stuff. So,
trying for a dirty 30.
You could. It's kind of the wrong time of year, but anything's possible.
Terry, hit us up tomorrow after the Derby on Jordan. I need to pick your brain a little bit.
Look at this guy.
Hey, listen,
look at this guy.
You got to create cohorts of people that you have a small circle with so that you can share information, because that is what growing the industry is all
The
about.
best thing you could do right now is just run to Harris and get that blue fish trap, take it out there to Jordan and fill it up this week.
I already took my fish trap out of Harris.
What was the situation for PB, weather, time of year, lure? Tough to get big bass in Massachusetts. PB 7.2 black and blue. Rattleback jig, Uncle Joss blue glitter, late October. Well, you go first.
So I caught two that were both 9.6. One of them was in the spring on a Cinco. I was in my old 16-foot bass tracker with a little 50 Merc on the back. I love that boat. And fishing with a spinning rod. And then that same year, so this is 2015, 2016. That same year, that was the last year that Harris had hydrilla on it. And I was fishing in November. My buddy Brian, he's not my buddy anymore, but he was in the back of the boat, and I was fishing with a it's over there, and it's a Daiwa, really old Daiwa bait caster that a guy gave me from a Warriors on the Water tournament. And I had 12-pound fluorocarbon. I was throwing a 3/8 ounce all white double willow blade spinnerbait, and I hooked this fish in a hole of hydrilla, and it felt like I had a big old bag of wet socks. It was so cold, dude. And boom, 9. It was the only fish I caught the entire day. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, both my over, and one was on a crankbait pre-spawn off a main Lake Point, and the other over 8 I sight fished off a bed.
Yeah.
Terry, we ain't cheating. You know that.
Cheating? What? No. The blue thing, the blue fish barrel that Pete's talking about, like it was a couple months ago.
But yeah, about a month ago.
About a month ago, somebody posted on the NC fishing page, bass fishing, whatever it is, on Facebook, and took a picture of this blue barrel that had like 12-inch holes drilled out of it, and it was submerged 3/4 of the way.
Oh, I know you don't cheat.
Oh yeah, we know that. But yeah, that blue barrel, man, like it definitely looked like a fish trap. Which fish? I don't know, but
it was large enough.
Had to be.
That's why there's only like 6-pound bags getting caught now.
Yeah,
they did have a whopping 11 this week at the
giant bag.
Giant.
Bag. That lake will
That's
turn
like the
around.
Sabine River.
You're gonna have to give that lake like another 5-10 more years.
10, 15, 20, 25. When I'm about 100, that lake will be good.
I'll lowball it and say 10.
I think 10.
10
You're
years.
starting to see some of the grass they're trying to plant do a little bit better than it was 5 years ago, the first time I fished it. And then it's just a matter of getting it to take hold.
If they would stop being paranoid Patricias and open up the buoys and let people fish the rest of the lake, it might take some pressure off of the other stuff.
It would.
They just need to, they're so, overly cautious about that nuclear plant. I don't know why. No, I'm just
Somebody
kidding.
needs to reach out to NERC.
Yeah. Harris still has grass offshore.
Where? You're the only one in North Carolina that knows where that grass offshore is. So
I'm trying to think.
I'll pay you for that.
I did. There is one clump of grass that I know of that's off the main lake on the left-hand side when you're running up middle of the lake, and you can snag it with a crankbait and you pull it up. But I don't know what kind of grass it is.
It's probably that. Some of that natural stuff or native stuff they're trying to get to grow. North
Carolina is trying to put coontail in there. They're trying to put what's the other one?
There's a
bunch of stuff. Yeah, they're trying to put some stuff in there. So stuff just takes time. Mm-hmm.
When it's native, it takes a lot longer.
And this is why I think they should ban the wakeboarders and jet skiers from going on there until all of the vegetation has replenished itself. I should start a protest. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
I'd pay a yearly launch fee to have them shut that down to pleasure boaters.
Dude, throwing a flutter spoon on Harris in the summertime is one of my favorite techniques for those schools.
I got to talk to you about flutter spoon.
Yeah.
I got some juice today.
You got some G juice?
Yeah, for a different lake.
Oh, snap.
I'm not gonna put it out there yet because the dude trusted to tell me, but
it's a private pond.
Yeah. But yeah, it's flutter spoon. That's the closest lake we have where you get those big schools.
Yep.
Because they don't school like that on Jordan.
Oh, that's how you found the grass. That makes sense. Yeah, you
Yeah.
let that flutter spoon just hit the bottom and then snap it off. And I've lost probably $300 of flutter spoons on one of the points in a brush pile on Harris, and I need to go diving and get them back.
I'm waiting for Zaldane's spoon to come out because it's going to be nasty.
Terry, do you throw the like the smaller flutter spoons, or do you throw like the big giant Lake Fork ones, or both, or neither?
I like the 6 to 9 inch flutter spoons are my preference. Those Lake Fork ones are like 11 inches.
Oh, dude, I crush them on them, dude.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I have more confidence with the little bit smaller ones, not those teeny little baby ones, but Terry throws the 10 inch. Yeah, I like the 7, 9, somewhere in there. So right around the same. They could be 10. I never measured them. I just bought them and threw them in a box and tie them on and throw them. You guys throw spinner baits. What blade combos are you throwing? I throw a golden shiner, double willow, 3/8 most of the time. Tim, for me, it's dependent on the time of year, the conditions. Muddy water, I'm going to throw double Colorado blades. I always go up one size on my spinner bait, so I change the blades because I want a lot of thump. And I'll throw anywhere from a half to or 3/8 to 3/4, depending on what I'm trying to fish. And then cleaner water when they're feeding on shad, summertime fishing pattage and stuff like that. I'll throw a double willow to match whatever it is they're feeding on. So if it's a shad lake, I'm going to throw white with double gold or double silver. If there's some cloud cover, I'll throw a silver gold combination. And 3/8 to half, usually at 3/8. So I'm trying to get deeper. I'll go half. I'll even go up to a 1 ounce in the summer. You'd be amazed the number of fish you can catch offshore on a spinner bait with 1 ounce spinner bait.
Mm-hmm. Terry, I got your stren. I got your stren right here, and then these Lake Fork. These are the 8-inch ones. These are the ones I like to throw. Put a swivel right on top. I don't ever put a stinger hook up on the top. I probably should, but I don't. But these 8-inch Lake Fork flutter spoons are some of my favorite. Bass Pro Shops, these flutter forks, they're almost identical to like some of the Strike King stuff, but these work too. It doesn't, whatever imitates a freaking shad fluttering to the bottom, it doesn't really matter.
Nick, I never throw a trailer on my spinnerbait. Never have.
That's crazy.
Just don't need it.
But you're confident in it.
Yeah, I don't.
In fact, when I caught that 9.6, I didn't have a trailer on that.
I catch plenty of fish on.
Yeah. Your hookup ratio is probably better too.
Yeah, I've never found a need. I mean, a lot of times when guys throw trailers, it's to try to get depth or they're trying to slow it down. You know, and I have 2 different reels for my spinnerbait rod, and I'll swap them depending on the time of year. Like early spring and stuff, I'll throw it on a crankbait reel, so like a 5 to 1 or 6 to 1,
super slow.
Yeah, and I can crank that joker really slow, and then when I speed it up in the summer, spring, summer, I'll go to a 7 or an 8, and then I can still slow it down. But if I need depth or anything, then I'll just go up to a 3/4 or a 1 ounce, because the bigger profile doesn't matter at that point. I'm fishing for a different class of fish. I don't need to be sort of finessey with it, if that makes sense.
Yep. I'm not in the glide bait game. I have some. I'm not confident in them, and that's because I don't throw them enough. I know that they work. And I think I just need to use them. But I think the thing that most people say about glide baits is you need to know when to put them down and you need to know when to pick them up. So,
yeah, they're a great bait when they eat them. But if they don't eat it I'm using forward facing. So if they don't eat it on the first or second throw, they're not going to eat it. Yeah. Like I've learned, they're either going to T-bone that thing the first time they see it, or they're not going to eat it. They're not going to eat it. And I threw it on Harris that day we were out there, and I had plenty of good fish follow it, but they weren't going to eat it. It's just the nature of it. Sometimes, though, and what I need to do is when they won't eat that glide bait, if you go to a big softie, you can usually get them. A lot of times you can get them to eat that.
A little less aggressive.
That's something I need to start doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, now's definitely a time to throw them on any lake.
Yep. Especially Harris.
They get on those offshore points, and I didn't have the wrong color, Terry. They weren't eating. Trust me. It wasn't a color thing. You can tell pretty quick.
What's your opinion on the Cinco knockoffs? Do you think they work as well as a Cinco?
No.
Oh,
Yes and no.
I guess it depends on what time of the year it is. If you're asking my opinion in the spawn, I don't think it matters really what you throw in a bed. I mean, it does, but I can throw a Yumdinger. I can throw a KVD, Diocho. I can throw a Cinco. I can throw a 6 cents clout. For me, I catch them on all of them. But I think when you start targeting specific fish that are maybe suspended under a dock, or maybe you're drop shotting a wacky rig type Cinco, which I don't know if anybody does that, but it does work. And you're looking for a lot of action or not a lot of action, then you need to choose your soft plastic wisely.
Yep. I know nothing will ever sell as good as Gary Yamamoto single disc just because they're the first. But I mean, I've caught them on all of them. But if I'm going to throw, there's really only two I throw when I need to, and that's an original Yamamoto Cinco, or I'm throwing the missile bait version, the 48. Two that I'm going to throw, and they're two different sink rates and things like that. A little bit different action and shape. But
whatever's cheapest.
I think the Yumdinger, in my opinion, the Yumdinger is the closest to the actual Cinco. Yeah. Like if you're trying to get on the cheaper side, because they sell them in the 50 packs and stuff, and they're not super expensive. That would be the one that I would go for. And I've caught a bunch of fish on the Yumdingers. I
will tell you that the KVD Ocho, it is far heavier than anything in the stick bait game that I throw. And so when I want a faster sink rate, I guess they're like coffee infused or whatever. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's all I used in the spawn this year was a KVD Ocho, because they were like $1 at Walmart, and I knew I was going to burn through a bunch of soft plastics. And I also don't throw an O-ring on my baits. I don't.
I do. I throw the VMC crossover rings, but I always throw a ring on my stick bait.
And you save a lot more soft plastics than I do.
Not as many as you would think, but you do save some.
Yeah.
The issue is if you're around smaller fish and you got to try to get through them to get to the bigger fish.
Yeah.
A lot of times they can, if they pull it right, they can pull half of that bait off.
Yep.
It's no different than if you're throwing it without one. But
yeah,
when you're on good fish, I had 148 last year that I fished like 4 tournaments and caught limits in all 4 tournaments with the same bait.
Really?
Yeah.
Does Z-Man makes a stick bait, don't they?
Yeah, they have one. I don't like theirs as much. It's a super slow fall rate.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be really good on a Nico rig because you're putting a little bit of weight into it if you can get a dang weight in the head of it because it's elastic.
Yeah, you might have to melt it.
Yeah.
Take your blowtorch, get your weight in there.
I've thrown them quite a bit. They have one that sinks too, Terry. It's salt infused, but they do. Yeah, they have a floating version as well.
I've tried the heat wrap thing. Yes, Nick, they all definitely have a different fall rate. Like I said, the Ocho, it's the fastest fall rate that I've found. The 6 cents clout, it disperses water differently because it has all the pitting in it. I love the 6 cents clout. And then the Yamamoto Cinco, it flutters better than any other stick bait that I've seen. Heat wrapping, Terry, I tried that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just not patient enough to keep doing it, but I've definitely done it before. And heat wrapping it, the reason why I like the heat wrap over the O-rings, or you use it to where you can actually get the hook perpendicular to the bait. Mm-hmm. With the regular O-rings, it's hard to do that unless you use two O-rings and cross them. Yeah. So
yeah.
You have a good night too, brother.
Yeah, you too, David.
Yeah, we're getting ready to jump off.
If anybody has any last minute questions, get them in. Trey's got a tournament. I've got boat work.
Stren, keep you right.
I put my leash on yesterday, and they put short motor mounting bolts on my jack plate, so I got to go run around and find some 1/2 inch longer motor mounting stainless steel bolts.
They put shorter ones on it?
Yeah, when they mounted it at the dealer, they didn't put the full length ones on.
So now what? You can't raise your engine all the way, or what?
No, I can raise my engine fine. I can't the bolts for my motor mount are only half thread.
Ooh,
They don't have full thread, so
Yeah.
because of the leash bracket. So I gotta find some longer ones tomorrow. So that's what I'm gonna do first thing.
okay.
I'm gonna go to the old that Jordan Lake Marina Crosswinds over there because the guy that's running their service department lives in my campground and
Okay.
he stocked her up. So I'm gonna see if I can find it.
Guys, I'm going to jump off here, go rig some rods, and get squared away for tomorrow morning, 2:30 wake up. So hope everyone has a great weekend. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Hope you catch a bunch of fish. Send us pictures. Let us know. Go over to our Facebook. Pete put the link in there. And take that poll. Let us know what you guys would like to see as far as swag is concerned, hats, shirts, both, whatever. And we appreciate your guys' support.
Yep. Thanks, y'all. Have a great. Make sure you head over and check us out on wherever it is you take in the podcast content and all of that good stuff. And if you haven't yet, leave us a review, a comment, whatever you prefer, so that we can continue to grow and we can build a community of anglers helping anglers, one cast at a time.
That's right.